Okay, so I just trying to make this video live, and it was like, you don't have good enough internet. Because why? Because we don't have Wi-Fi here. I don't like the color on this shirt. Everything else I like. Oh, it's a good shirt. I just don't like the color. It bothers me. Any hoozle. Okay, so I'm gonna show you some stuff in my house that I think is cool, and it's not all or nothing. So people message me on a regular basis asking me, like, what does my dog have? Nothing. Okay, a bone, not a chicken. Asking me to like meet with them, and you know, how do you know all of this stuff? And how I know all this stuff is because I have ADHD and the internet, and I hyper focus on stuff. Do you want to know what I'm hyper focused on right now? I don't care if you do or not. I'm gonna tell you about it. Let's talk about trains. No, I'm hyper focused on the fact that, so I have sheep, two that have like decent fiber, like I could shear them and make some slippers out of it, or a hat, and then one that's just like straight meat. She doesn't really have a coat at all. So I thought there was meat sheep, and then you can eat any of them, but then fiber sheep, right? And I knew that if they had a baby, they would produce milk, and they would have milk, but I didn't figure it was ever like that much. Kind of like how you got a meat cow and a dairy cow, and yeah, you could milk a meat cow, but it's not gonna be like dairy, like a dairy cow. I found out yesterday that there are dairy sheep, freaking dairy sheep, that will produce like a gallon of milk a day. Dairy sheep. They have great coats, so you can make a hat, you can drink the milk, and then you can eat them at the end of it. So I'm gonna need me some dairy sheep. When these sheep are done, Mama's going to dairy. I told Chris last night, I was like, oh, I found some dairy sheep, and he was like, go ahead. I'm like, that's not the kind of, like, I like your attitude, but also you gotta check me in a little bit. Speaking of, I'm looking at my sheep right now. Look at these little loud cows out there. Look how cute they are with the chickens. That one, that black-faced one, ugh, so cute. Those are both the babies. That's the mom of the white one, Sonora. Back to the task at hand. Okay, so let's start with the fact that I have this basket on the counter, and all my eggs for my chickens go into this basket. I do not refrigerate my eggs. Eggs from the grocery store, once they've been refrigerated, they have to be refrigerated, but straight out of your coop, as long as you don't wash them, they have bloom on them. That protects them. They don't need to be washed. But once they've been refrigerated, or they don't need to be washed, and they don't need to be refrigerated. Once they are refrigerated, they start to sweat, and then they have to be refrigerated. Eggs can last on the counter for like a month. So also, it destroys some of the protein in them if you do refrigerate them. So they're actually not as good for you once you've refrigerated them. Another thing I always have on the counter is something like this. And it's got my bread, English muffins, whatever I've cooked. Because homemade bread doesn't have a bunch of preservatives in it, it is not going to last as long. Something just scared the sheepies. It's not gonna last as long, so we try to eat it within a day or two. Whatever I don't eat, I will make bread pudding out of, which is basically baked French toast, or I'll feed it to the animals. Another thing you can do is keep it in the fridge. It will last longer in the fridge. What else do we have over here? Oh, here, this is homemade laundry detergent. So you can get those laundry detergent bars, and this is another one of them. I actually put it in my food processor, which is a bad idea. Don't do that. Learn from me. So you get those laundry detergent bars, get the most natural one that you can find, and you can grate them into a saucepan, put some water in there, and just cook it and mix it until it's all dissolved. Once it's dissolved, throw it in a 5-gallon bucket with, I do like 4 cups of borax and 4 cups of washing soda. I've seen a bunch of people do it with just 1 cup of each. Washing soda is not the same as baking soda, just so you know. and they put it in a 5-gallon bucket, and then they mix it, and they fill the bucket the rest of the way up to the 5-gallon mark. And they use like 1 cup to a half a cup, depending on what kind of washing machine you have. My clothes have never been cleaner. Never been cleaner. So with these 2 like 1/2-gallon jars, I did, it was like a quarter. I had like a quarter of one left over. And so I did that in here, and I'll just put like probably like a 1/4 cup of this in my laundry because it's pretty concentrated. And then I just will throw some washing soda and some borax in there. Never been cleaner. So my work clothes, I have like this black nylon-ish tank top, and I always have like my deodorant sticks to it, right? And so my deodorant always, like, no matter how much I wash it, like, you can see my deodorant, but I wear a jacket over the top, so it's fine. But I washed it with this stuff. Gone, love it. Okay, what else do I have? I don't have any right now, but I'm getting ready to make some. So I take all of my spices out of the plastic, and I put them in glass because plastic is bad for us. And the longer it is stored in there, the more the plastic breaks down and gets into it. Also, I try to make my own spices. So I have a freeze dryer and a dehydrator. So like garlic, most of the spices that you get from the store have heavy metals in them. Baby food, heavy metals. That baby cereal, don't feed that to your kids. It's not very good for them. And it's got heavy metals in it. Also, do baby-led weaning. Trust me. Anywho. So make your own spices whenever you can. So I will go get a bunch of heads of garlic, especially if it's on sale. I will peel it all, run it through my food processor or a blender or whatever, and then put it in your dehydrator. If you have a freeze dryer, run it through the freeze dryer, and then I'll break it up, put it in jars like this, and then I have my own homemade garlic powder, minced garlic, and like if it's I'll do some that's chunky, and then I'll run some a little longer, so it's like powder. But like the chunky stuff, I will just mix that with a little bit of water from the freeze dryer, a little bit of water, and it's just like fresh garlic, fresh. But yeah, all my seasonings. Look, this one's out. It's my Italian seasoning. I keep in these if I can. And honestly, like most of my stuff is in jars. So a lot of times you can get big 1-gallon jars from bars, places like Buzz Inn, stuff like that, because they get like cherries in jars like this and pickles and stuff. And so they'll give them to you. A lot of times they will stab the top of them so that they can get them off. So I get these. They're whatever. But if you know somebody, you can ask them to like not do that to the jar lids, and then you'll have lids to go along with them. And so my pantry is mostly consistent of this. I will go to Winco and get just bulk enough to fit in a 1-gallon. And I used to have one of these things that will like label them. They're very cheap, these labelers. My kids broke it. There was labels all over the house saying like Hunter's an a-hole that Jackson made, and just like putting it all over his stuff, and then it broke. Imagine that. So I need to get another one, but I like the way it looked in my pantry, like all glass. And Chris had said, oh, you put all glass in that, everything, they're gonna break. I've not broken one, and I've done this for years now. Let's see, what else is in here? My Lazy Susan. Here is so I really like my food processor. And then this is my mixer. It's a Bosch mixer, B-O-S-C-H. And I make all my bread in here now. I used to do it all by hand, but my shoulder was starting to hurt, and I was making a lot, and people were purchasing it, and it was just too much for me. Let's see. Oh, look up here. So this is my... Hold up. Wait a minute. This is my apple cider vinegar. So Bragg's apple cider was purchased by Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. They've changed the recipe. Plus, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom pay a lot out to Bill Gates and funding of Bill Gates stuff, and I am not about it. Anything that Bill Gates' hands are in, I am out of. So this, I just went to the thrift store. Aren't these pretty? These are just napkins. So I try not to use paper towels because they're bad for us, they're bad for the environment, bleach, all the things. So I get, just from the thrift store, napkins, okay? And then I use them for all different kinds of things because I probably paid like 10 cents for this thing. These come on the asparagus that Chris gets, so I have a bunch of them. And so we did a bunch of apples. We got some apples from a friend, and then there was a bunch on sale somewhere. And so any apples that I get from the store, I always peel them because they put bad stuff on the coat. They coat them. Anywho, I did 1 cup of sugar, dissolved it in a gallon of water-ish. So, I mean, it's not going to be a full gallon because all of the apples. So, the apple cores and the apple peels are in here. And you just set it up and let it go. It is apple cider vinegar at this point in time. It's been a few weeks. I've got 2 more up there and I just keep rotating them. And it's like pretty. It's pretty and I like it. So, those are those. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, my soap. So, no, that's not gonna work. I used to love me some Dawn dish soap. And now, I make my own soap. I buy any little jar that I can find. See, this came from the thrift store. This came from the thrift store. This is like dirty because Lydia's been using it for something else. But this came from the thrift store. And I just get little mugs and stuff and I will dump my soap right in there. And then I get these, clean my dishes. It works just as well as regular soap, if not better. Let's see, what else do we got here? Let's go to the laundry room. In the laundry room, we have got the freeze dryer. Get a freeze dryer if you can. They're awesome. In my laundry, I use my laundry detergent that I make, but then also I will usually use some like white distilled vinegar. I feel like there's nothing good in my my pantry. I've got, so because I have the freeze dryer, whenever, this was a potato soup that I made, and so whenever I have leftovers of a bunch of dinner, I'll run it through the freeze dryer, put it in something like this. All you have to do is add water to this now, and it'll be like a cup of noodle soup. It'll be ready in 2 to 3 minutes. Chris can take these to work with him, or it's just like a quick, easy, like literally, if I'd already made bread that day, I can rehydrate the soup, and we have the most delicious homemade soup that is ready in 3 minutes. So I may put them in smaller jars too. This would be one that Chris could just stop at a gas station and get, hi babe, and just get like the tea. Okay, I'll make you something in just a minute.
Okay, but make me a hot dog.
How do you ask?
Please.
Go make.
Ketchup.
Okay, go make yourself one. You're capable.
No,
Oh, you are definitely capable. Oh, but otherwise you're gonna have to wait. Okay. Please stop. So this one he could just stop and he could get hot boiling water, you know, like the tea water, and put it in it, and he would have an instant meal, homemade. I know exactly what's in it. In fact, this has potatoes that we grew, corn that we harvested from a friend's sweet corn patch, and yeah, what else we got in here? So I got plums. These plums came from a friend's house. I actually dehydrated these and not freeze dried because they were a little like tart. And putting it in the dehydrator because it warms it up. It gives it more of a caramely flavor to it. Okay, moving on. So let me show you how messy. I need to clean up. Ooh, this way. So these are cast iron. I use cast iron like almost always. So cast iron. There's more. This for dinner last night. Here's more cast iron. So I have like 6 of these, and I love them. What, Lydia?
Guess which tooth is gonna come out next?
Which one? Ooh, she'd be losing teeth like crazy. Hi. What else do we got?
I love losing tooth.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, because then you get more.
Okay, so down here. So the fruit stand down the road is like going out of business for the season. And so I went and bought a case of lemons and I ran them through my freeze dryer. Just add water. They're just like lemons. This is, so Chris got a deer last year, or sit down here. Ugh. Chris got a deer last year, and the freezer was just like taken up by it. And we didn't want to eat it because it was tough. So I canned it. This has actually got potatoes, carrots, celery, onion, and then the deer meat. And it tastes just like beef now. This is rotisserie chicken that I got from Costco because, you know, no, not right now. Wait. Because it's cheap. And so I brought that home, ran it through the freeze dryer. And this is bell peppers through the freeze dryer. This is one night I made, this is meat gravy, just beef gravy and mashed potatoes. And so I ran those through the freeze dryer. Now you can just add hot water to this. And in 3 minutes, you have like a home cooked meal. Let's see. This is, I did chicken bone broth. So the chickens from this, I pulled all of the meat off of them and then I boiled the bones and made bone broth. And then I ran that through the freeze dryer. So whenever I need bone broth or to add some extra something to like potatoes, it's like, I just sprinkle it in there. So these are just straight venison. And so like last night, I made mashed potatoes and then I just made this because it's got the drippings in it. And I made this, the gravy. So it was ready. The gravy was ready in 5 minutes and it was delicious. Nobody had any idea that it was venison. They just thought it was beef. These are more venison stews. That's a venison stew. More lemons, more bone broth back there. These are chanterelle mushrooms that we picked this year. So good. I just rehydrated them with bone broth and then a little bit of butter, and they were so good, so good. This is corn silk with vodka. So I'm making a tincture out of it. It's really good for urinary health. It's also really good for, I believe, high blood pressure. More bell peppers. More bell peppers. More chanterelles. Okay, this is, I made, what is this? Blackberry cobbler, and then we had a tray of it left over, so I broke it up, put it through the freeze dryer, and now it is cereal. She loves that kind of cereal, she says. This is just straight beef gravy, ran through the freeze dryer. Just add water, and it will be a meal. Okay. Where else? It's gonna be like the longest ass video ever. No, thank you. I have some really purple marijuana that somebody grew and gave to me, which I'm not much of a smoker anymore. I mean, I'm not against it, but it's just not like, I get a little paranoid. Okay, so I actually just had my hormones checked, so I'm gonna wait to see what comes back from them. But this is wild yam lotion, which has it like fixes your hormones. So if your progesterone is too high, it'll bring it down. If your progesterone is too low, it'll bring it up. I got all my plants in my bedroom. I got plants. This was that's not old, but it was like a clothing rack for a store. A friend of mine gave it to me. So plants in your bedroom. Lilies are one of the best ones, and ferns are some of the best ones. They clean your air, they make you sleep better, all the stuff. Here's all my soap that's sitting out curing. You want to know why homemade soap is so expensive? Because not only is it homemade, but it has to cure for like 3 weeks to a couple of months before you can use it. So this is just sitting out curing at this point in time. So can't use it for a while. So I have to really like stuff. Okay, we're in my bathroom. Oh, look at this. So it's from work in my bathroom because I want to wash them all together. But see all that crap on the bottom of my tub? Is because every time I do take a bath in there, I get the most out of my bath, and I'm going to make it be a detox bath. So I use this, which is bentonite clay powder. It almost gives it like a slimy texture, but it is really good at drawing toxins out. You can make a lot of things with bentonite powder also. So I do about a cup of that, about a cup of Epsom salt, and then a cup of borax and a cup of baking soda. So this baking soda, I actually have 2 baking sodas. This one is more to clean with. There's heavy metals, there's aluminum in this baking soda, but you can order some that's aluminum free. So I have the stuff that I've been cooking with, and then this, I have been using it in my bath, but I prefer not to. I do not wear makeup anymore. And by that, again, it's the all or nothing thing. It's not all or nothing. Sometimes I wear makeup, but it's pretty rare because, like, it's bad for you. First off, even the stuff that's not bad for you is pretty bad for you. But second off, it's like, you know, the eye stuff. Mascara, waterproof mascara is like belonging to all these class actions because it's terrible for you. Like, it's terrible. The stuff that makes it waterproof is terrible for you. So I made these hand lotions like forever and a day ago. And they're just, I put 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 beeswax, coconut oil, shea butter. And, oh, this one isn't bad. This one is actually dandelion. But then I started adding, like this one, took that, remelted it down, added a bunch of castor oil to it because castor oil is very penetrating. And then I added propolis to it. So propolis comes from the beehives, and it heals just about everything. So I have propolis tinctures that I use to heal everything. It works so freaking well. Let's see. But yeah, this like, not this lotion, but the other stuff, I'll use it on my face, on everything, on my lips a lot. So I got these toothbrushes. It's a stick. And you just, they surprisingly work well, and you can just cut the top off of it, redo it, and the pitch that's in there, like, can reverse cavities, all this stuff. I just use that every now and again because I think it's cool. I do not use any fluoride. Fluoride makes us stupid. It is a neurotoxin. It is not good for us. 0 fluoride. And I was getting some shit from my dentist and stuff, and then I was like, yeah, I need to find a new dentist. So I have these here, which are terrible, but you know what? I use them every now and again. Not every day. Not, I would say, like, every few weeks if I really want to, like, have that little pizzazz. But it's pretty rare because I know that shit's bad for me. I try to use more natural stuff, but even the natural stuff, a lot of times you're going to get things that are greenwashed, which is things where they will do, like, they will name the product organic Oreo, you know, or that's the name of it. It's not actually organic. That's just what they named it. And so it makes you believe that it is something that it is not. A lot of oils. This has patchouli oil in it, which I love. I love patchouli oil. Chris hates it. And I wear some to work. I just put it in my bun so that I could smell it. And everybody said that I smelled like the prettiest old lady ever. In my shower, I have black seed oil. When you look at black seed oil, it says things like, will cure everything except for death. And I don't have a lot of wrinkles. I mean, I'm 38, but I put this on my face. It's supposed to be really good for wrinkles. They say that if you take the vitamin E caplets and you will mix a little bit of this, a little bit of vitamin E, and a little bit of castor oil. Castor oil will like push things down deep. And so that's what the castor oil is for. You mix that up, put that on your face, and it is the Crunchy Girl Botox is what they say. But I will put this on my face, on my neck, and on my elbows, and then I'll do it while I'm in the shower because then the heat from the shower kind of forces it all in. And then I will take some orally. Okay, moving on. Seriously, I'm already at 25 minutes here. Okay, so this is for blood pressure. Blood pressure medication is not good for you. So one thing that you can do to lower your blood pressure that works as well as medication is breathe in for 2 seconds and then pause for 2 seconds and then breathe out for at least 6 seconds. And if you do that for 5 minutes a day, twice a day, 5 days a week, it can lower your blood pressure like as much as medication. So much so that they say you should talk to your doctor because if you're on medication and doing that at the same time, it can lower your blood pressure too much. But so this thing, on the inhale, it's at 1, so it just is like totally fine inhale. But then on exhale, I've got it on 4, so you so it like makes it harder for you to breathe out, and these help a lot with your blood pressure. Also, these will stop an anxiety attack. What else do I have? These things mess with our bodies are electric. These mess with our electrical currents in our bodies. I do have one. Look how cute it'll do this. Gosh. Oh, come back. Yeah. But I don't use it very often. If I use it, it's only at work, and it's usually only a couple of days a week. Another thing that really affects us, when we talk about our electrical current, is grounding to the earth. So if you go stand outside with your shoes off, that will lower your blood pressure considerably as well. Okay, so I have curly hair, and this thing right here, these brushes are amazing. I'm a fan. Anything else? Anything else down here? Okay. In my medicine cabinet, I have a lot of things. So homeopathic medications. So this brand specifically, I'm a big fan of, like Arnica, muscle pain and stiffness, swelling from injuries, bruises. And it's these little melt away tablets. You take 5 of them, you put them under your tongue. And these are all homeopathic stuff. Golden Seal, I take that sometimes. I don't take that as much as I should. And then I do take Lugol's iodine. I take 3 drops of that. I try to take it every day because, iodine. I use the aluminum-free Squatch deodorant. The Bay Rum is my favorite. It's actually men's deodorant. Chris got it. Smells so good. Chris got it for himself. He had gotten like all these different scents. And this one, like, it's my favorite. It's natural. I'm sure that it could be more natural, but I'm not ready to make my own of this yet. What else do we got here? I think that's about it. Usually it's just like a less is more type thing for me. Like less is more. Look at all my lip balms here. I'm going to start a roadside stand where I'm going to sell my stuff. Everybody keeps asking. It smells so good. It smells just like beeswax. It's got coconut oil and beeswax in it, and it works really good because beeswax is very penetrating. I'm going to start a roadside stand, and because people keep trying to buy my soap and all my stuff, and it's going to be in there. I also have this homeopathic It's just like a bunch of them. And it was a way to buy a bunch without spending too much. So here are the little beads. You know, preparing for the end of the world, the zombie apocalypse. I also have, this is potassium iodine tablets, KI pills. So this is a high level pill for like if ever there is like a nuclear fallout. So when you have nuclear stuff happen, that is going to go into like your thyroid and stuff, and that's how you get poisoned by it. So if your thyroid is full of iodine, then it can't get in there. So that's the thing. Let's see. What else do I have? What else is going on? I feel like that's about it. That is all. That's all, donkey. That's all. That'll be it.